Hi everyone, it's Bethany. In this video, I am in need of creating a couple baby cards, and seems like a lot of people that we know are welcoming little ones, so it's so exciting, and I need to make a couple cards for some friends. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. We're gonna have a little slow, crafty evening and get some things done. So I can't remember if I've shared these yet, but Spellbinders came out with these really nice little stackable trays. They're really nice because they also have the lid with them. So I really enjoy things like this because I like to organize my projects in this manner where I can just put the supplies that I need. Sometimes I even put markers and things like that in there if I already have a color combination all ready to go, or I put sequins in these little bins. But in addition to this whole system is the lids, and I think that's so nice because then you can have multiple of these and then you can stack them and you can have all of your projects all ready to go and organized. So thought I'd share that. I'll link those down below. They sent those over to me. But here are the couple of products that we're going to use to make two different baby cards today, and I'll do my best to see if I can still find these. If not, I'll try to find some similar products. But this is a really cute little stamp set. Isn't this cute with the little stork and the baby? Very fun. And I have the coordinating dies. I also have this stamp set here. Let's see, we have a white background on the back where we can kind of make this. No, not as well as this, but I have this stamp set as well, which is really cute. You can do fun framing with a variety of different little babies. And then I, of course, have the coordinating dies to that as well. So I'm going to start with this card. Let's go ahead and stamp this out and do some simple coloring. Okay, I am going to bring in my Misty stamping tool and a little piece of 80-pound cardstock. I also have some ink that I'm going to be using because I will later color this image with alcohol markers, so I want to make sure that the ink pad that I'm choosing works well with alcohol markers. Okay, this is so cute because I love the sentiments. Let me zoom in here. So we have cute sentiments here. We have your baby is much cuter than other babies. We have congrats, already so loved. Congrats on your new alarm clock. That's hilarious. And then we also have you made a teeny tiny person and hello. Aren't those super cute? So I always love a really good sentiment. I think that that can really make or break a card. So I'm excited because I'm kind of torn between a few of the sentiments because they're all just so cute. Okay, so I'm just going to lay that nicely right on my paper there. I think I'll stamp the sentiment out on the actual card base, so I'm not going to worry about that for now. And let's reposition this because this is brand new to me. I am going to condition the stamp, and both of the cards I need to make are for little baby boys, so that's so exciting. And so we're going to do a little bit more of a boyish card. Okay, let's go ahead and ink this up. Here we go. And I already know on that little tie up at the top, I'm going to need to re-ink that. Yeah, I already know I didn't quite get a good impression there, but let's just give it another layer of ink. Okay, and there we go. Beautiful, beautiful image. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so that is all set. I'm gonna let this dry for just a little bit because I want to, again, do some alcohol markers next. So I just wanna make sure that I allow this enough time to dry so that I don't have any smearing when I start coloring. I also want to show you that this set also has really cute hearts too. So that's really cute as well if you wanted to add those around your card. Okay, to make good use of my time while I'm allowing my first little card panel to dry, I will go ahead and decide on my next card and stamp that out as well. So I'm really liking this little striped one. I think that is so sweet. And I also really like this little hello little one, and then we'll just change out the little baby in the middle. So let's go ahead. And I love this because you can do a variety of different little, oh, I guess, never mind. I guess I need to use the baby that's in there, which is fine. I kind of wanted to do the one with the stripes, but we'll just use this. I thought you could interchange that out. I guess if you wanted to split the stamp, you could use an X-Acto knife and trim that out so that you could do any insert that you wish. What about this one? Oh, I guess that one is the same way. This little one here has it built in as well. But you could always, you know, mend the stamp and do whatever you'd like. Okay, but let's stamp this out just so. Might as well keep it easy. I'm not that picky about the pattern on the little swaddle. Okay, and then let's go ahead, once the stamp is all conditioned, whoops, and get that nice and stamped. Okay, got a little bit in the middle there, but that should be just fine. Press that down and go for the next. Oh, goodness gracious. That didn't do anything at all, did it? Okay, let's see. Okay, a little bit better. Oh, we have to totally redo that. I wonder if I think I have a bubble in my stamp. So let me clean my stamp off and let's try that again. I got a bubble in there and it's making it uneven. Okay, so I'm just going to peel this up. Okay, and then just relay that down in order to remove that bubble. Should be just fine. Make sure that's nice and dry. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay, I already know that I mended that bubble because I'm not having that ink smudge in the middle of the swaddle. So that should work much, much better. Okay, and focus on some of those little vines. Okay, definitely we'll double stamp that and we'll be ready to go. There we go. I might even bring out my little stamp tool here, little pressure tool. Oh, there we go. So nice. I'm actually still going to add just a little bit more right to that inside. Actually, I'll just do it all over so it maintains the same contrast. It just needs a hair more, and because I know that I'm going to spend some time coloring our first image, I know this will have plenty of time to dry. Okay, so I have a variety of fun colors here, and I'll go through them as I go, but I'll also link them down in the description box below, as well as everything else that I'm using to bring these little cards together. Now I kind of rotate my cardstock as I color, so you'll see me do that a little bit. So first and foremost, I'm going to start with this E000. This is a pale fruit pink, but I really like this for doing the skin. So I am just going to go all over the skin here. And again, I used an alcohol-friendly ink to stamp out my image, so I shouldn't have any smearing, as long as I waited long enough for it to dry, which should be just fine. Okay, so I'll do the little hand here and the ear. I'm not going to do too much shading. I might come back in a little bit, but for now we're going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is let's focus on the little swaddle. So I have BG10 and BG11. So let's go through with the BG10. Okay, so let me start. I'm going to do the little ties up here as well and just do some all over coloring. Go. This is a pretty color. Okay, so it's just some all over color. And then while that's kind of setting, I'm going to come back in with the skin color, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shading to this left side here. Just give a little depth, just like that. Okay, and then let's do the BG11, and we'll come in and do some shading along some of these little creases. Or not creases, but some of these lines. There we go, just like that. Maybe even down. Okay, then I will grab the BG10 once more and just kind of feather that out a little bit and smooth it out. And I think that looks good. Okay, let's do E31 for the hair. Probably not going to do much shading here because there's not a lot to work with. So that actually looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna come back once the skin has completely dried and we'll add the little cheeks. Okay, so I think I'll do probably YR21 for both the beak and the feet. So let's just lightly place that. Pretty, it's a pretty color. And then the same for the feet. Okay, and again, probably not much shading. I might come back in just a moment. And then I'm going to do Y32 for this little crown here. Okay, very cute. Now, I'm thinking, do I want to make the stork a gray color? I don't know. I'm thinking I really like the white, but that I want to bring in some kind of gray to do some shading. So I'm thinking even like, and I can do some testing. Yeah, like this COO. I can kind of bring some down just to give this a little bit of depth so it doesn't look just so flat. Do some there. And probably here. And then I'm going to come kind of under these little wings. I think it's giving it just a little bit of depth. And then maybe, I really, I have no rhyme or reason here. I'm just kind of playing it by ear of what I think is going to look nice. Just maybe like that. Okay. Maybe even a little bit on these little creases. It's so subtle, but it livens it up a little bit. Okay, maybe even a little bit like that. Okay, let's also come back with the R11. We'll do little cheeks on the baby. 1, 2, I might even double that up, and then we'll do a cheek right there with the little stork. But I definitely want to add a little bit more contrast to the baby's cheeks. So they're sinking in there. Okay, I think I like that. I'm gonna keep it super, super simple. I think that's all it needs. Okay, so I'm going to do much of the same colors to my second image here. And again, this was stamped 3 times, but I did give it plenty of time to dry, so we should be just fine. And I'll come back and do a little bit of additional shading in just a moment. Let's do the BG10, do some all over color. Actually, I think I need to bring some more skin down, skin color at least, down into that little neck area. Okay. Okay, looks good for a moment. And I'm going to pull in a nice green. I'll do G21. I love this green. And let me go ahead and really quickly do all of these little leaves. And they are so tiny that we're not gonna have much of an opportunity to shade. So I'll just go ahead and color these real quick, just like so. Okay, so I got all of my green. In fact, on some of these larger ones, I can add a little bit of shading to the base of the leaf. So I'll do that. But definitely not all over, just on those bigger ones where you'll actually be able to appreciate it, really. Okay, just like that. Oh, that does look nice though. Gives it a little bit of more depth there. Okay, so that does look nice. Okay, so again, that was the, I'm so bad at the caps, guys, sorry, but G21. And now I'm gonna go back with my BG11. And again, let's do something like so. Pull the BG10 and kind of feather that out, just like that. Okay, like that. And bring in the E000. I'm gonna do that little neckline, but then I'm going to bring in some shading along the left side, just like that. Okay, let's do the same color combination, the BG10, BG11 for the little birds. Like that color. Sometimes I just don't overthink it with color. I grab my favorites and try to just pull in some consistent color throughout my little image. Why don't we do the Y32 for the tiny, tiny little yellow flowers? Well, I guess they are now, but the tiny flowers. They're yellow now. Dab that color on. And then our R11, we can bring in for this flower. Oh, I love this color combination. Again, I'll list this whole set of colors down below. Pretty. While I have this out, let's do the cheeks. So sweet. And then I'm going to do some shading on those flowers in a moment. Let's do BG11 and just do a tad bit of definition on these little birdies. And that should be good to go. Okay. Final definition, maybe just adding some to the base. Just like that. Okay, these look so pretty together, which doesn't matter because they're going to have separate people, but I love how beautiful they coordinate. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the coordinating dies, and I'm going to work on this first. And let me just trim out all of these little dies so I can just have that big surrounding one. Okay, so now place this right around so that we can trim it out. And are you ready for my most embarrassing moment to date? Get ready for it. It has to do with my Gemini Junior. I can't believe the words I'm about to say. Oh my goodness, she is alive. Do you remember a couple videos back when I was super, super sad because we have recently moved and I could not get her to turn on, and I just thought, you know, she must have not made the move. It must have just been too rumbly of a trip, and sometimes that happens with electronics. And then two of you lovingly said in the comment section, have you made sure that she's turned on in the back? No. So I'm sure at some point in time, probably when I first bought this machine, I had toggled this switch on, right? But then ever since having the machine, once I, had it for the very first time, the only button I focus on is turning it on or off. And so I completely have forgotten that there is another little toggle switch for power back here. So I am so grateful that two of you mentioned that in the comment section, because I was about ready to retire her and I thought, let me just try. It's so silly. I'm sure that's not the case. It was the case. So I am grateful because she's back. I don't have to repurchase this machine, and I'm back to using my electronic machine, which is so nice. So long story short, I am so embarrassed and I'm so thankful. I just never would have remembered that little button again because I just never used it. This has always been my focus for turning it on and off. All right, let's cut this out. Okay. And while we have, oh my goodness gracious, look. Precious, right? Love it. Okay, I'm gonna set this here. But while I like to work smart, not hard, right? And while I have my die cut machine out, let's trim this little one. And I'm going to trim this down. That way I can use my scrap cardstock. So just for fun, and also, well, for fun and to be honest, to make me feel better, let me know of a really embarrassing story that you have had, maybe craft related or not craft related, because, oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed that it was just a power button issue in the back. So tell me something that will make me giggle. Okay, so then we have this. So now that I'm seeing this, if you wanted to do a different styled little one with a different little swaddle, you would just color this image, skip the baby in the middle, and then when you go to trim it out, then that little one would disappear, this version, right? And then you could put a different one inside. So that's an option there. As I'm learning this set, I'm learning how you can do things with it. Okay, let's tape this down. Okay, and I'm going to double tape, just like that. And let's cut that out. And then I believe this is going to come in a lot of little pieces. So we're going to set these to the side up here in just a little pile. Oh, pretty. Okay, so we're gonna have to reassemble that in just a bit. In fact, I need to send this back through because there's just a spot where it's not quite cut out. Okay, I'm gonna bring in my mini trimmer here, and then I'm also going to bring in, let's see, you can see the measurements there. I'll bring in an A2 size piece of 80-pound cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm slightly trimming that down to 4 by 5 1/4. That way my card panel is just a little bit smaller than my card base. And then I will bring that right into my MISTI. And I want to keep this so incredibly simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this here. And I kind of want, no, I want it just like that. And I'll use, let's see. Yes, I like that. Okay, I'm just going to use some tape to secure that. Okay, and then I really like congrats on your new alarm clock. I think that's adorable and so incredibly true. And I want to stamp them separate. That way I can get them really close together. I think that looks good. Let's position that. And then condition the stamp. And now this is so fine and dainty that I am going to very lightly just tap. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay, and then I will, just for contrast, get that to be a tad more bold. We'll do it one more time, but not pushing too hard because I don't want to make it thick, right? Actually, I'm gonna do it a third time just because it's so fine. Oh, almost got ink everywhere. But the stamp impression is just fine. I just want to make sure that I have a nice bold look that matches the lines in my little illustration. Okay, so that one is great. Let's clean that off and grab the little sub-sentiment, or the rest of the sentiment in this case. Congrats on your new alarm clock. Okay. Just nudge this right under. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm going to use the lines on my MISTI door just to make sure. And then when I condition this, because it is just so skinny and fine, I'm going to be very gentle that I don't nudge it up or down because I don't want to misalign it. Okay. Then we'll apply the ink. Okay, and place that right on down. Oh, very cute. So simple. I love a simple card. I really do. Okay. Let's just get that to have a little bit more contrast, and I think that's good. I think that's good. So let's wipe that off and let's finish this first card up. Okay, I'm going to create my card base. So I have my scoreboard. I also have 110-pound cardstock, so slightly thicker. This is 11 by 4 1/4, and I do want to make this a top folding card. So half of 11 is 5 1/2, so that's where I'm going to place my score line, just like that. And we can go ahead and fold and press that down. Okay, and we will be right back for this in just a moment. So I'm going to set this to the side, and let's grab a little bit of foam tape to secure our little panel right to the front there. And I promise, I went through some colored cardstock to see if I wanted to do a colored card base, but in the end, I really like the pop of color that is just in the image, so I'm going to play it very neutral and just do a white card base, because I think the other, by bringing in color in my actual card, it was kind of, I don't know, it was taking away from the pop that was the coloring. So I'm going to go really simple, but you could opt to definitely do something more bold if you would like. Okay, so now let's just place this, whoops, right on down, and I promise I'm going to fix that washi tape, but one step at a time. Okay, now what I think I'll do is put some foam squares right on the back of this, and we'll get a little bit of contrast by just bumping that up off the card. So I'm going to opt for the smaller foam squares here, and I will just place them thoughtfully around the back of this little cute image. I'll also trim 1 1/2. That way I can get a little bit of structure and support on the little feet here. I'll probably also do the same for, let's see, how did I do there? I'm going to need to move that just a little bit, but I'll probably do the same for the little, oh, right here, the little area where there's a tie. Okay, just like that. That way we don't have anything that's bowing down. Should be good to go. All right, in fact, let's move this one just a little down. Okay, let me take off the backers. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my little tweezers here, and let's see where we had that. Really want that hugging the sentiment. And that looks good left to right, so let's just secure that right on down. Oh, that looks very, very nice. Love the simplicity of that. Let's also bring in some of these little clear dewdrops. I think that would be simple but very effective. And we have some liquid glue here. Let's find some smaller ones. Okay. I'm going to do 2 to the bottom right, and I'm going to thoughtfully use this little area here to do a little trio, just like, yep, that was pretty effortless in terms of a decision. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I like that. Okay, all done. Let's secure that with our liquid glue. So start over here. Oops, there we go. Put these right on down. Ooh, so pretty. I love these. If you don't have clear dewdrops, they also make adhesive back ones if you don't want to glue them down. I actually find it harder to have adhesive back embellishments. I don't know, I prefer to glue them, but to each their own. I know some people just love them, but I find I have a little bit more, whoops, let's turn that around. As I'm saying it, a little bit more control, but I'm like pretty much losing it in terms of control right now. But I find like I have a little bit more control when I can glue them and position them without that sticky back. Okay, there is our first card. Let me, before I forget, remove one, and let's turn that around. I'm going to add my little stamp right to the back. Okay, and let's place that down. And there we go. Okay, so card number 1, very clean, very simple, just gorgeous. I love how that turned out. Very sweet. Okay, doing the same dimensions for my card panel for my second card, I'm going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. There we go. And I wonder if just to build a little visual interest on the card, I could maybe add just a little subtle glow behind the little sweet baby, just to bring something more. So I'm just going to get an idea for placement of everything. And then I think it was hello, little one. It was pretty centered. Okay, let's focus on, and I am not going to put any ink on my brush. I'm going to use whatever has been on there. And I'm just going to create a little glow, just maybe like that. Nothing too bold. Hopefully that's centered enough. Ooh, that's cute. Okay, I'm gonna might bring it just a little to the right. Okay, just like that. Okay, I think that's going to be just fine. So, and don't worry about it being, you know, uneven or anything, because it's just going to be kind of a glow behind it. You're not going to see it in its entirety. So let's do the little foam squares once more, and let's position the little baby. Let's position the little baby down first. So we'll do little squares. And I probably should be putting my foam tape on the back before, you know what? I'm gonna play it risky. I'm sure I can do hard things later. Let's build this up and then we can put the card base on later. But you work in whatever fashion you need to. Okay, I'm going to center the little baby there. Okay, and then go out to the left and right with these little vines. Cut the little sticky backers off the back there, and let's do that. Oh, very cute. Okay, and then I'll repeat with this side, but I also need to poke out some of those little middles. Okay, and then what I love about the tweezers is that it really takes a lot of the hands out of the picture and allows you to really focus on placement. I think I need to take a little bit off of this side, and that is just fine. We'll do that in a little bit. And then we have little one and the hello. Very cute. Okay, I'm gonna finish up putting all those little pieces on. We might do a little trimming down, and then we're good to go to build this card. Okay, little one. In fact, I might bring that. Nope, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Okay. There we go. Put little on. There we go. Bringing this back in just to take, let's see, there we go. 1/8 of an inch maybe. I think that would be fine. Let's do that. Let's do 1/8 of an inch. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And then maybe off the bottom. That way it's all even all the way around for our margin. 1/8 there. And, oh, perfect. Okay, and with my foam tape on the back, I'll just place this right on down once centered. Oh goodness, I love that card. And I already put my little stamp on the back. But again, I went with a white card base just because I felt like it just kept that pop of color remaining right, you know, in the middle of the card there. So that's just my personal style and personal direction that I like to take my cards, but you can absolutely, oops, I have these little backers going everywhere now. You can absolutely do that any way you'd like. So I hope that you had an enjoyable evening or day or morning watching this video. I hope that you are inspired in some way if you need to create either cards for new babies or with just any of the techniques that we did with these two cards. So let me know which one is your favorite. I am absolutely 50-50. My heart is just with both of them. I did decide not to add any additional embellishment. I think everything is just complete as is. So I did not add anything more to this card, but I love both of these completely equally. Usually I am tipped one direction or another, but they're both just darling in my opinion. So I really am happy with how both of these turned out. As always, everything will be linked down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, it's 24 hours later and another friend is expecting a baby, this time a girl, so I went ahead and did a girl version of this card using much of the same colors. I just pulled in that cheek color again to do the swaddle, and then I changed up the sentiment a little bit because all of those sentiments were too good to be true, so it was nice to use a different one on this card. Hopefully you had fun watching this, but here's another example of how just changing up the colors can create a really fun look on the card. Very simple, but very fun and girly. All right, everyone, I feel like it's truly the end of this video now. Thanks so much for watching.